Peace to the gods. Peace to the gods. What's going on, my good people? What's going on? We in good spirits today. We in good spirits. It's been a good weekend for me. Hopefully, it's been a great weekend for y'all. I'm gonna wait till y'all pour on in. Let the good people pour on in. Peace to the gods. Peace to the gods. We got a special broadcast today. I was going to do a different broadcast, but my brother hit me up, let me know, like, there's some things going on, brother. I want to talk to you about it. I want to talk to the people about it. So we're going to talk about it today. Exactly what's going on in the world, overseas, things like that. Then also, it's a lot of lies, it's a lot of different propaganda. We just want to set the record straight today. You know what I'm saying? So, we're going to get started. I'm going to let the people come on in. Share the live feed, share the video, let more people come on in. It's going to be a powerful one today. You know what I'm saying? We're going to get it in. You know what I'm saying? And yeah, that's right. We talking about what's going on overseas. I actually know someone that's overseas. You know what I'm saying? So we're going to talk about it. You know what I mean? There's some of our brothers and sisters that's out there right now. Let's talk about it. Let's talk about what's going on, what's really popping. That's right, Kimmy. Salute. You know what I'm saying? You know what I mean? All right. So I'm going to go ahead and get it started. Let me play the intro. Let's get it popping, man.
Yeah. They insured the ships, they paid for the whips, they funded the expeditions, they paid for the trips, and they talk about genocide, they funded our Holocaust, they screaming out Mazel Tov from throwing the Molotov. Hit you in your noggin, now your yarmulke falling off. It's Yahweh or the highway, you'll be dead when the shotty spark. When the shots hit your chest, it'll burn like Bacardi Dark. Return to the Falasha, kill the white Jew imposter. Because you lack the matzah to deal with my people proper. Now you gon' have to deal with this bleeping shotgun, the slumlord. The moment you see me, you know you done for. You even see my face on your TV, you better run for it. The evil Hebrew, unequal, you claim to be the chosen people. The wrath of God come to see you. No respect for Israel, you criminal, set the colony. You hate me cause I'm speaking the truth. You try to silence me.
I believe in my God and in my gun. And you say, well, you don't really believe in God if you believe in the gun. I believe in God and my gun. And I pray that He will bless you to practice when it's time to shoot. When it's time to shoot
straight. All right. We're back at it. So, I'm gonna tell you today, as you see on the thumbnail, got the brother King. The brother is coming through today, the OG. You know what I'm saying? So he, as we know, some of us already know he's out there in Israel right now. You know what I mean? And yeah, there's some things going on. So he definitely is here to talk about exactly the key points and everything of what he feels is going on, and we're going to get it in today. We're going to talk about it, and some of us are in the understanding that, hey, maybe this don't have anything to do with us. Why are we talking about what's going on with the Palestine and Israelis and things like that? So hopefully this brother here is going to explain all of that and bring it to reality for all of us. You know what I mean? So without further ado, I want to bring the brother in, and let's go ahead and pull him up. Let me take him.
Test it 1 2. Test it 1 2. Test it 1 2.
What's going on, brother?
I'm good. Can you hear me?
Yes, I can hear you now.
Okay. How's everything?
Everything is going well my way. I'm in good spirits today, so it's all good. It's all good.
That's
brother.
Great.
What's going
How's
on?
The babies doing?
They good. Playing around, being children, being little godlikes there. You know what I mean? Little godly little beings. You know what I'm saying? Just wanted to be adventurous and create. You know, that's all.
That's
Yeah.
good. Is my mic clear?
You sound good. Sound good, bro.
Okay. I didn't have a chance to check it before I got up because I we finally get a chance to get a little rest in because I'm as you know, I'm living in Israel, but I'm living right up the street from Gaza, just a few miles in the city of Ashkelon over here on the beach. And so when they get to throwing rockets in the country, this is the first place, we get them. So you hear the alarms, you hear the bombs, you hear the explosion, the concussion. I mean, and we're close enough to Gaza that I can sit in my bomb shelter and hear the ordnance explode as they, detonate them in Gaza.
Mm.
You got any questions to start out? Maybe you might have particular questions about something.
I'm gonna tell you this, because from my understanding is there's a lot has been going on in that country. You know, the beef or whatever you want to call it between Palestine and the Israelis, and that's been going on for a long time. Someone said over 40 years or something like that. You know what I mean? So my thing is, there's actually a few questions. Let's just start with there. Like, if you want to start with the history, with that, and then we can move on to some other questions because I want to make it interesting as well. But let's just start with the history, and then we can kind of go for there for the people that don't know exactly. Like, what is this that's going on right now?
Okay, what's going on right now? Excuse me. What's going on right now in Israel is a fight between the Palestinian and Israelis. It started, a few days ago, actually like Monday. But what I wanted to do is kind of give you an understanding of exactly what caused it to jump off. Israel was formed as a state in 1948. And believe it or not, it was a brother named Ralph Bunche that worked in international affairs and diplomacy for the U.S. government back in the 30s, 40s.
Mm-hmm.
And the brother, Ralph Bunche, was a very powerful brother, very intelligent brother. You actually can go to Google and pull up information on who Ralph Bunche is and get a real in-depth understanding. But it was due to the political and the international negotiating skills of Ralph Bunche that actually caused this land to become the state of Israel. There's another European dude called, his name is Theodore Herzl. Mm-hmm. And they give Herzl the credit of being the father of Zionism, that, had the idea of making this land region the land for the Jews. But it was through the works of the brother Ralph Bunche that caused this place to become the land of Israel. Ralph Bunche, during a time back in the mid to late 40s when they were trying to take this region from the Palestinian who was already here, it was through the negotiation of Ralph Bunche that he set up a boundary. He came in. This brother had incredible international negotiating skill, solving disputes between different nations and, countries around the world. And the government called him to come and try to help them work on uh, bringing some peace or stability to this region, because the Israelis was, trying to move in and take the land, which they eventually did. But it was Ralph Bunche that actually gave the defining territorial lines and negotiated between the two parties to make this a state of Israel. And so they've been at war. You had the 6 or 7 day war that took over certain areas when they came up out of Egypt and war. It's a long history, but if you want to get in details on that, you can go into Google and type in Ralph Bunche and read it for yourself so that you can get the detail. I'm just saying it was a brother that set the boundaries for this to become the state of Israel. And, you have a lot of people that have a lot of history about Israel pertaining to their religious, spiritual belief. But what I want to focus on today is that what caused them to get into what they're in today, which is, as we, unpack this, you'll see it's real different than all the other ones that they started. Now I'm going to different articles that you can look up for those that may want to read further in detail. This is taken from the New York Times article that was written and explains exactly what happened to cause this uprising between the two to jump off. And this article is taken from the New York Times. It was written by Patrick Kinsley on May 15th. Okay. And it starts of 27 days before the first rocket was fired from Gaza this week. A squad of Israeli police officers entered the Al-Aqsa Mosque in Jerusalem. Now, the Al-Aqsa Mosque is the area that you see pictures of Jerusalem when you see the gold dome. Okay, the gold dome is situated over a rock that in the biblical times, the Bible say that Abraham was going to sacrifice Isaac to show his dedication unto God. On that rock became a spiritual location for many, several religions, mainly Christian and Islam. Mm-hmm. It's the third holiest site for Islam. Okay. The rock is covered with a mosque, the gold dome, and whenever you see that gold dome, you know that that's Jerusalem. I've been into it, but it's controlled by the Arab, and also Jordanian is the custodian over that rock. It's a real big rock. You actually, it's an incredible rock, the size of it. And so it's a mosque up there that the Arabs go in and, they pray and move around and whatnot. And you actually can go in as tourists. And I've been up there, but it costs 25 shekels. When I went, it costs 25 shekels to go in. But if you are Arabic, then it was free. So I went up, and being a brother, but I spoke some Arabic to the guy at the door, and he thought I was, Arab. Arab, and I went on in free and did my little walk around the tour to see it. But that gold dome constitute one of the most controversial lands in the world, because you got the Jews that came in and took the place from the Palestinian Arabs that was here, and it's been a fight ever since. And some, a lot of people know Jerusalem and the fight and history like that. But focusing on what's going on right now with what you're seeing in the news. 27 days before the first rocket was fired from Gaza. Gaza is an area in Israel that is a Palestinian city. The next largest Palestinian city is a city named Ramallah. The Gaza is situated on the southern portion of the state of Israel. It's to the southwest corner of Israel, and it's bordered at the south by Egypt, the country Egypt, to the west, to the east by Israel, to the north by Israel. Gaza is only 41 kilometers long, 25 miles. One end of Gaza is 3.7 miles. The other end is 7.5 miles, which means it's a narrow stretch of land, 460 square mile, which is nothing. But it has just over 2 million people, and it's said to be the third most densely populated city in the world due to that small landmass and the incredible number of people that is there. Gaza is controlled by the military faction named Hamas. When you hear them say Hamas, they're the ones that, fight to regain their land of Palestine back, and they have called for the destruction of Israel. And so when this thing jump off, it's with Hamas out of Gaza, and they're the ones that shooting the rocket into Israel. Now, it started a few days ago, like May 10th, when they began to shoot rockets in here. But I want to walk you through this article so you can understand what caused it. And we know that for every action, there's an opposite and equal reaction. And so if something happened when you got to know that it's something caused it, there's a reaction. 27 days before the first rocket was fired from Gaza this week, a squad of Israeli police officers entered the Al-Aqsa Mosque in Jerusalem. What I just told you up there on the top. You go through the courtyard and then you get over there to the dome, which is the rock that just explained to you. Now, also, you have to understand that Jerusalem, the old city, it's the old city of David. And two main sections that you hear about all the time is this Al-Aqsa Mosque that I'm saying that the Palestinian pray in and go to, and also the old city of David, the wall that you see the Jews praying at all the time. They at the bottom, and the Arabs at the top over there, up there on the compound where the rock is at. And so it's a real hotbed, it's a real hotbed, because you got to remember now, when they pushed into the land and drove the Palestinian back, killed a lot of them and took the land for themselves, certainly you created a never-ending cycle of hate and disdain, And so when they went up in there, the Israeli police officers, they went into Al-Aqsa Mosque. They pushed the Palestinians aside and went across the courtyard, and then they cut the cables to the loudspeaker that broadcast the prayers to the faithful from the 4 medieval minarets. Now, those are actually the prayer towers, the minarets. That's where the cantor go up and he go through the, call to prayer. And they built those towers in ancient days. And today, up there on the Temple Mount, they have loudspeakers situated, and they'll blast out the prayers. And, the Muslim, they pray 5 times a day. Now, this took place, it was the night of April 13th. And also, it happened to be the first day of the Muslim holy month, Ramadan, where they fast during the day Okay, and they prayer the holy month of Ramadan is they, holy month. Also, it was the Memorial Day in Israel where they honor those that died fighting for the country. So you see the first month of Ramadan, the holy month for the Palestinian, and then it was the Memorial Day for Israel, honoring those that died fighting the country. Now, the Israeli president, President Rivlin, he was giving a speech at the Western Wall. They call it the Wailing Wall, and that's where you see the Jews down there praying and sticking the paper in between the cracks in the wall. On the paper is prayers that they write and stick in there, hoping to get a blessing of their prayers answered. That's something they do. And for those that don't know, after Jews get through praying and weaving and bobbing at the wall and what have you, sticking that paper in the wall, they have a crew of cleanup people that are black folks, Ethiopia. So, there you go. Brothers and sisters come through there and got to get all them papers out from the prayers of the Jews that done stuck him in the crack. Even Trump, when he came over here, he got up there and touched the wall and went through his stuff too, and they define themselves as Jews. Those are Europeans that came, and I want the people to know that the word Jew is just simply the short for Judah. Now, we have in the nation of Israel under the, house of Jacob, Abraham being the forefather, he had 12 sons, Dan, Naphtali, Gad, Shimon, Issachar, and Judah. And when you say Jew, you're simply speaking toward individuals that are part of the tribe of Judah. He's a Jew. If you're from the tribe of Dan, he's a Danite. If you're from the tribe of Ishmael, he's an Ishmaelite. So it's so forth and so forth. And, we understand the history of the theft of identity that the Europeans have taken. And we understand that, the color scheme, and we understand that these were originally African Edenic people before, the European incursion into this land. All of these brothers and sisters that we're speaking about were in fact Nubian black brothers and sisters that these Europeans have usurped the identity of a people and taken it for themselves. So we know about the transplanting of these European in the identity of the beautiful, delicious, indigenous black brothers and sisters of this land. Okay, we also know the history that when the Roman general Titus came into Jerusalem and pillaged Jerusalem in 70 AD, that he drove out 11 of the tribes, but he kept one tribe there with him to work as their servants. And these were black people of color, I've been in Israel for 40 years. This past Saturday, May 15th, marked my 40th year being in this land. I landed here in Israel in 1981, May 15th, 5:40 in the afternoon. I stepped foot in this land. This past Saturday, May 15th, is my 40th year anniversary of being here, and also my youngest son, Ben Zohar's birthday. He turned 22 on Saturday, the day of my anniversary, entering into this land. I have 6 beautiful children, all born and raised here. 5 of them, let me get it right, 6 beautiful children born and raised here. 3 have served in the military. 1 with special forces. My eldest son, he's married to a sister from Brazil, and they have a son. He was special forces, sharpshooter, and Krav Maga. He's a tough guy. Matter of fact, OC, you kind of favor him. Y'all have the same skin color, and kind of had the same, calm, cooled out demeanor. He's a laid back brother, but the dude is awesome. Big guy, 6'1".
You said he is shooter.
Excuse me?
You said he is shooter, huh?
Yeah, he's a sharpshooter and he's a fighter. He does the Krav Maga, the Israeli style of self-defense. And he's a bad guy. He's a rough guy. He's a big dude, but he'll fool you though. He'll fool you because he's so cooled out and look, kind of like, that dude rough.
Them be the ones.
Yeah, real quiet. And when he would come in from base, he'd sit up and play video game.
Mm-hmm.
He'd sit up and play video game. Me and his mother would joke like, dude, what's happening here? You came in from fighting and shooting and got your uniform and you throw your bag down, doom, shower and chill out and eat. He get the video game. Yeah. I said, don't bother him because he releasing, de-stressing. Ain't no telling what he done went through.
Mm-hmm.
And so I love him. He's my guy, big. His name is Amitiahu. And he has a wife from Brazil, and they got a little son, little active fellow. He's just running all over the place. And my other son, Suriel, he served in the Israeli Air Force. Suriel is the brainiac. I call him the brainiac because this brother, his mind is incredible, And he served in the Israeli Air Force and made sergeant. And he was incredible in his thinking. The only soul brother up in there. And Turiel was an aircraft engineer, and he specialized in F-16, F-15 power plant. He was the engine specialist. Even though he knew the entire aircraft to pass his certification, but he focused on the power plant, which is extremely critical because when you get them jets in the air, you definitely don't want no engine failure, especially at the time of war.
Yeah.
But
I want to
he
ask
told
you.
me,
No,
go ahead.
No, I was going to ask you, and you're probably going to mention it right now, but how do they actually feel about what's going on in that country? As far as
my
the
children.
Battle, yeah, your children. As far as the battle between, especially the ones that actually serve, I'm not sure if they still serving or anything in the Army or Air Force and things like that, but. How do they actually feel about the war that's going on with the Palestinians in Israel?
I can't answer that, OC. I will have to go and talk to them. The reason why is because since this been going on, I've been hunkered down. I stay in my bomb shelter almost 24/7 without going, I don't be moving around the rest of my house, but I would have to go and ask them because I've been here and they live in another city.
Okay.
And so I haven't had a chance to even sit down and talk to them to ask them what they feel. I have two that is currently serving. 3 have served. Suriel, he was the aircraft engineer, and he also was selected to work in the group for the F-35. That advanced plane came out of the States. Israel bought a bunch of them. But he decided to go ahead on and, finish up his service because he wanted to get on and do other things in life, live his life, and so he's doing good. He's okay. He's doing good. Got a nice income, work and everything. Met a lot of people in the military. And just want to give a shout out to the the intelligence of brothers and sisters. I want to give you just this right quick since we're discussing this, and I want to walk through this so our people can know just how incredible we are as a people. Now, this young man, when he was 17 years old, well, Israel over here, serving in the military is mandatory. It is no question, no debate, no back and forth. When you finish high school, you go into the military. Excuse me. Army, Air Force, Navy, or Marine. Surreal went in Air Force, and he told me a story that the Israelis come here. Excuse me. The Americans come through, and if you hear me struggling with my thoughts, just kind of bear with me because, I ain't been sleeping much. and none of them have around here in Ashkelon because it's either the sound of the exploding bombs, it's either the sirens going off, and I'm just rest broken. But I'm gonna walk through this with me. Just give me a little time because I want you to hear this. I need our people to hear this because it's very crucial that we know, who we are, what's going on, everything. Surreal told me they had an open house on base, and he told me that the Americans come all the time and train with Israel. One time, a group of American aircraft engineers came over to, train and share information and stuff because, America is Israel number one, partners. They tight with each other. So he said that one time a group came over and they was giving instruction to the American engineers, and he said that this engineer told him he said, I'm having a problem with you all. And him being the only brother, this is a white dude, from the state. He said, I'm having a problem with you all. And, Surreal, he was born and raised here. And they haven't experienced racism like our brothers and sisters have in the States at the level that they've had to deal with it. And so Surreal told me that this guy told him that the problem that he's having is the fact that all of these Israeli engineers working on this multi-million-dollar equipment and doing all this sophisticated work are babies. Surreal was 17 at the time, and most of those American engineers came through. They was like in their 30s, late 20s, and they having to sit at the feet of educators out of Israel, and they all children, 17, 18 years old. And that's what the guy from the States said, that, wow, you people are just children. You mean to tell me that all of this multi-million-dollar, high sophisticated equipment is being serviced and engineered by children? Yes. 17, 18, 19, 20-year-old. And I couldn't have been a prouder father the day I went to open house with Surreal and watched my son give a dissertation on the power plant to the F-15, F-16 in front of all these Israelis, 17-year-old son laying it out in Hebrew. You couldn't have met a more prouder father. And so, that was a great day for me, him and his mother. And, the next son is Ben Zohar. He's currently serving right now. And I called him regular. He's a driver. He was a sergeant. He just made staff sergeant a couple of weeks ago. He's a driver, excellent driver, and an incredible son that, he has the brain of a lion and the spirit of a lion. He's a tough guy. I built these sons. Okay. I gave them the training, the mental training that I've had, and they tough, mentally tough. Okay. My oldest daughter, Nodelia, she's a model, professional model here in Israel, chocolate, tall, intelligent. and she also was a aircraft engineer for the Israeli Air Force. She's the epitome of beauty and brains. You know, modeling out there on the stage, put a uniform on, and go pick her tools up and work on the engine in the F-15. She's married, and she has a beautiful daughter, Michaela. And this girl, this baby girl, is one of the most focused 6-month-old babies I've witnessed. Real focused. That little girl is something else. Always laughing and playing. And so they doing real good. She married a brother from Texas, you know, brother she met over here, and they got married. The other daughter, Yafit, she's also serving currently in Israeli military. She's a driver also. I taught her to drive, and you know, I trained her to handle the vehicle. And here in Israel, you have a lot of circles. When you come to an intersection, you know, you have the 4-way, the stop sign, the traffic light, but it's inside the cities, and as much as they can, they build circles that you drive in and just keep going. Where a lot of people have problems driving forward in those circles, you know, but I trained my baby girl to drive backwards, looking in the rearview mirror, referencing the curbstone and the car, to learn how to handle the vehicle. She goes in the military, and in her battalion, out of all the men and women, she is the #1 best driver. Her commander love her, and they like for her to wear to drive their cars, all the new stuff. She has a Instagram page. She's a comedian. You know, she do all these comedian, you know, pieces, skits, and I'm like, baby girl, you're a natural. Where you get it from? And so she's doing well. They both are serving now, and I call them every day, but I never asked them the question that you just asked me. I will, and I'll get to call you and let you know what they feel. I got one other baby girl, Tariq. She's 17. She's about to graduate, and you know, I was there for the finance. So when the graduation came, the bill came. Tariq is the baby girl, and we call her the grandmother because she is just always got something really wise to say. And all these babies was born here in Israel, all, you know, Israeli citizen, and they doing very well. So I'll ask them about the situation what's taking place here in Israel. But back to the explanation. You got a question?
No, I was just going to say, because I, you know, just looking on the outside in, because I know you live there, and you probably know more about the history than anybody you could actually know that's living on the outside, because you're actually there, you know. One thing that I kind of think about is the fact that it feels like it's a fight that's going on over the land, you know. So I'm gonna say, just like I spoke with you earlier, the land was actually, I think it was the Palestinians was on that land first, and then something happened. There was a war and a continuous war through the years, where the people, the whatever they call themselves, the Israel. I don't know if they call themselves Israelites or Israel. I don't know how to, but those type of people basically took over that land through time, you know, to the point where that's the small piece in that area that has the Palestinian people that's actually there. So, you know, I feel like it's more like a revolutionary type of thing, where the people are actually coming back to take that land over, you know, take their land back. You know what I mean? So I don't know how true that is or exactly what's going on, but that's how it looks to me. You know, just people just coming in to take their land back. And of course, you know, there's some casualties and people are getting hurt just because of that. But, you know, if you want to expound on that, or, you know, that's just one of the questions that I had.
Yeah, this land was invaded. The European came in, after they came in and actually took this land from the Palestinians that was already here. And that's been an issue ever since. And all throughout history, this land has been fought over back and forth, back and forth. Israel has been a hotbed of, strife, fight, and contention for many years. It's all in the scriptures and throughout history how, those have ruled Israel have rise and fall. And, King David and King Yeshashka and Ishmael and go all the way back, that they fought. And currently these Europeans that are here claiming they're to be Jews came in and drove the Palestinians back and claimed this land for themselves. And you are not going to have peace in a situation like that, where you still, got the remnants of those people that was here in 48, under your control. So it ain't gonna be no peace over here in the Middle East. You follow me?
Okay, I'll follow you. Yeah. Okay.
Okay. Now I didn't come on tonight to get into scriptures and going back and forth. I'm just specifically going over what caused this situation to escalate in the past few days. And as I was explaining out of this article, this guy wrote, which tells that the Israeli president was delivering a speech at the Western Wall. And, for them, it's their sacred Jewish site that lies below the mosque, the Temple Mount, I explained to you. Now, these Israeli officials, they were concerned that the prayer would drown it out. Okay. And the prayer was being played through the speakers on the Temple Mount above them. And so the incident took place where the Israeli police went in and cut the speakers' wires and stopped the prayers. Mm-hmm. And that incident, it was confirmed by 6 of the mosque officials and 3 of who actually saw the police do that. And when the Israeli police was asked about it, of course, they declined to mention it. And on the outside world, it barely registered. Don't nobody even know at this point. They just talking about the number of rockets that Hamas fired into Israel. Israel has a right to protect itself. But in hindsight, the raid on the mosque is one of the holiest sites in Islam, right? And that's one incident that led to a lot of increased tension between Israel and Hamas. Hamas, I told you, is that militant group, that military group that rules the Gaza Strip. And that started the outbreak of civil unrest all across this country. And the fallout is just what they didn't expect to take place. Now, at the same time that this was taking place, the Israelis wanted to have a march called Jerusalem Day, to celebrate them, taking Jerusalem. Well, that march normally goes through Jewish Palestinian cities. And so I say Jewish Palestinian city because they have been living side by side with each other for years in neighborhoods. But because of what the police had done at the mosque at the beginning of Ramadan, they decided to not march through the Jewish communities because they knew this problem would turn up, which it did. Also, during the month of Ramadan, at the gate, the Damascus gate, that goes into one of the main gates leading into the old city, during the month of Ramadan, the young Palestinian boys, they hang out and, around there's a courtyard that leads up to that gate. And the young Palestinian boys, during Ramadan, they go up there and cool out and relax and eat whatever. Well, the Israeli police locked it down. They wouldn't allow them to go in the courtyard, which definitely started a fight. Police dropped concussion grenades and what have you. And that turned into a fight. Now, when all this done flared up in Jerusalem, there was several Palestinian families that was literally physically thrown out of their house. I mean, it was like, knock on the door, get your ass out of here. That's just how it happened, because what they claim is that the settlers say this is our land and they sold it from under them. But the Palestinians, they had deeds claiming rights and ownership to the land back to 48. Then the settlers, they say we going back to 28. Then the Palestinians, we going back to 1800. So it's been real crazy over this land like that for years. But we're focusing on what caused this to jump off now. And so you got the situation in Jerusalem where they went in, cut the wires, and, that pissed them off. They shut down the entrance to Damascus Gate, the square. They wouldn't let them go up there. That flattered up. And then when they went also, after they cut them wires and took over, the police went into the mosque and they dropped concussion stun grenades, and there was a lot of women and children up in there. Now, look, when you got a fight between the men, okay, that's the fight between the men. But you don't take that into the family and start dealing with the women and children. That was even in the mafia code of operation. The code was never bring the women and children into our affairs. If we gonna take you out, we dealing with men. This is man to man. So when you start, involving the women and children, you don't cross the line. And so that's what took place. And the eviction of those Palestinian families, and some of those settlers are actually Americans that are here, claiming Jewishness and, they right to this land. So this has just been a hotbed of tension. Now, when Hamas heard about what took place at the Temple Mount, they flared up and started firing rockets into the country. And that's what caused this to jump off. When they cut those wires to the speakers, because they, was saying that, the prayer would be too loud and the president's speech would get drowned out. You had the first day of going into the Ramadan, the holy month, and then you had the Jews down there celebrating Jerusalem Day, and all this took place. Then you had these settlers go in and throw these people out, and it all flared up. Hamas started throwing bombs. Now, on the political scene, all this took place at the same time that Benjamin Netanyahu failed to form a government, which meant that the mandate to form a government went to Lapid and Bennett. Lapid and Bennett saw the situation and knew that it was going to be an uphill battle for them to form the government. Each party get an opportunity of 28 days. And in the 28 days, if you can't form the government, it goes to the next candidate. And that was the president. Rivlin is the one that passed off the opportunity. So it went from Netanyahu when he failed to Bennett and Lapid. So to go ahead and try to put a government together, they needed to get a certain amount of seats. I think the number is 61. Don't quote me, which you can look it up. But they had to get a certain amount of seats, which is a certain amount of ministers. In Israel, the government structure is a bit different from America, where you got the president, you got the Senate, and the Congress and what have you. And so here in Israel, you have the ministers, like the minister of finance, the minister of education, the minister of security, and all these ministers have portfolios that they sit over. But the prime minister, the one that sit over all those ministers and actually, had the power above all of them. And then that's been Netanyahu for the past 12 years. Okay, now Netanyahu failed to form the government. In the past 2 years, we've been in 4 elections. Why? Because they have not been able to just get enough votes for either Netanyahu or enough vote for the guy that has been running against him, which has been against. It for the past 2 elections, it was split straight down the middle. So what they did for the last one, which was the 4th one, Netanyahu and Gantz, they say, okay, they'll form a unity government where Netanyahu will be the prime minister for the first 18 months, and then Gantz will be the prime minister for the second 18 months. Now, Netanyahu has another situation you should be aware of for those that's interested. Netanyahu has been in court, and he has 3 criminal cases against him that he's fighting. They did the research to see if it was enough evidence to take it to court. They did. So a few months ago, they had the first reading, and the defendant has to be in court. Netanyahu, being as arrogant as he is, didn't want to go to court. So he asked the lawyer to ask the judge, could he skip the first reading? The judge said no. By law, every defendant has to be there. And so they made him come to court. And his arrogant ass, instead of, the camera was there, the prime minister in court, criminal case. He didn't want to sit down, while the camera was there. So he had all the cameras and reporters leave because he didn't want to be seen sitting in the daggone court. But dude, you in the court, whether you standing up, laying down, sleeping sideways, you are in the damn courtroom for these criminal cases that they done found enough evidence to try your butt. So one day he in the Knesset speaking as the prime minister, and the next day in court fighting a criminal case because he got some dirt on his hands, some skullduggery that he undone. So him being the prime minister causes him to be able to delay, deflect, shuffle the deck, move pieces around to keep him from going through that trial, being convicted, and wind up in prison. So when this situation jumped off in the Al-Aqsa Mosque, the police cut the wires, they stormtrooped the mosque where the women and children and the other Palestinians was at, throwing these people out, knowing that it was going to flare up. And then you had Bennett Lapid with Ram. A week before all this happened, they had enough seats to form the next presidency, and Netanyahu would have been out. What happens? Netanyahu stokes the situation because why? He knows how these people feel about each other, Arab, Palestinian, and Jews. Arabs and Palestinian, they the same people. Sometimes you hear me say Arab, sometimes you hear me say Jew. They the same people. But he know Netanyahu how they feel and think about each other. And he's standing over here just about out the door looking and seeing that something that has uniquely been different is that it was just about to be a Palestinian political party sitting at the seat with the Israelis, the Jews. And Netanyahu know that these people, they are hating on each other. So what he does, he stokes the situation, and he's running around, oh, we're going to end this. We're going to end this once and for all. And he moving and shaking and talking about using the situation and flared it up, knowing, and he's a chess player. And so he looked at the situation and rolled it, pushed it, shoved it, because he was banking on one of those individuals, either the Palestinian or the Israeli, saying, we can't work together because look what's taking place. And that's exactly what happened. It was Bennett. Bennett said that he in good consciousness cannot sit in a government with Palestinian when they are throwing rockets in our country. And it all broke down. Now, Bennett and the P don't have enough seats to form the government. And the next biggest party would be the Likud party, which is what? The one that Netanyahu sits over. So now they got to talk with Netanyahu. So he got another shot of staying in the position because he's going to manipulate it, to wind up still the prime minister again. But all this shit show we dealing with is based on that one dude, because somebody had to instruct the police to go up there and get him, and somebody had to give the settlers, authority to go and throw them people out of their house. And who controls the government, control the police, the military, and all that, and that's one man, Netanyahu. So in short, you could say that all this shit that we going through, I'm sitting here rest broken and fatigued because of one dude fighting to save his own ass. You got dead Israelis, you got dead Palestinians. So can't nobody jump up and say the Palestinians undid us wrong. Can't nobody jump up and say the Israelis done did us wrong. They both done beat the shit out of each other, but it was started. It's always an action. For every action, there's an opposite and equal reaction. And as I monitor the news, nobody's talking about what actually kicked this off. See, that Jerusalem piece is a tinderbox, not just now, but for thousands of years. It's been fought, and we know that. It's been back and forth based on religious belief, and it ain't never been peace like that. The only times you can really look at peace was after King David ran through and whooped everybody's ass, and then he sat on the throne for 40 years in peace. But I mean, after you whooped everybody's ass, you ain't gonna have nothing left but peace. And so he was able to hang out up there for 40 years. Now, according to the scriptures, Israel is actually from the great river Euphrates down to the Nile in Egypt. And so this landmass that we're situated in now is actually ancient Jerusalem, where King David did rule. So this is all Jerusalem according to the ancient biblical boundaries. But I'm not here to get in that. We're talking about what happened to cause this to jump off now. And you got to hear the arrogance in the Israelis, because there's been the American delegation, the Chinese, and these other nations are trying to bring about a truce, some peace talk, something to end the violence. Now, another point that the Israelis did not expect is the incredible violence that has been taking place in the streets of Israel between the Jews and Palestinians. I'm saying to you that there are many, many neighborhoods all across Israel where Jews and Palestinians have been living in the same neighborhood, shopping, going to school, and living side by side. Jew over there, Palestinian over here. This situation is very different from all the ones I've experienced in the 40 years I've been here. I done been through a lot of these bombings. We hear these sirens all the time, but this one is extremely different. Because why? It's not just Hamas throwing missiles in Israel and the Israeli military is dealing with the situation. We have unbridled fighting in the streets of Israel in many cities around the country between the Palestinians and Jews. They run around like wild men, beasts. I mean, they fist fighting, they're throwing rocks at each other, they burning shit up, houses, cars, stores. You got mobs of Jews running around looking for Palestinians like madmen. And if they think you're a Palestinian, they'll attack you like bees and animals. I mean, I watched the clip the other day where this guy he saw the reporter and thought the reporter, was his enemy, and had his helmet to the motorcycle just wailing on the guy. I mean, it is crazy. Now, that is what they didn't expect. Also, I don't know if y'all heard in America, but to the north of Israel is Lebanon. And out of the southern tip of Lebanon, they started shooting rockets in Israel too. So you got Gaza to the south, firing rockets up to the north. And at this city I'm living in, the first one to get a lot of them. In the other city around the corner, we get the bulk of them. But now they have missile with the range that they can hit Tel Aviv. And so they rock Tel Aviv, they rock Holon. This is the south coming up out of Gaza. And from the north, I heard the other day that Lebanon shot 2 rockets and they fell into the Mediterranean, because Lebanon is north of Israel on the coast of the Mediterranean. And so they just straight up north. And so Lebanon shot rockets to the south and they fell in the Mediterranean. That was 2. Then they shot 2 more and they went over to Syria. Now, all that fighting taking place in Syria is just right next door to Israel, because to the northeast, we share borders with Syria. So 2 of the rockets from Lebanon headed to Israel actually fell over into Syria. But one of the rockets made it into Israel, but it fell in open space, because up there is a lot of open space. Your populated area is like Tel Aviv, Beersheba, Jerusalem, Haifa, which is to the north. And so these are heavy populated areas, but up there is a lot of open space. But you got Lebanon shooting into the country. Also to the east is the nation of Jordan. Jordan protesters start marching toward the border of Israel. So you got Hamas firing from the south, Lebanon firing from the north. Now the thing, Lebanon hadn't been firing as many rockets, but for them to raise up and fire a rocket, that was significant. Then you got Jordan marching over in. They didn't come to inside of Israel, but they came in this direction out of protest of what Israel was doing to their brothers and sisters in Gaza. Also from the north, you had some Arab Palestinian to come into Israel border from the north. All of this response wasn't what they expected. The next point is the type of rockets that they sending in. All the years I've been here and all the different, rockets that we've experienced coming into the country, yay. Now, understand that a difference between an ordnance that detonate on impact, a bomb, when it detonate, the explosion is the destructive force. These rockets that they're sending in Israel is like a big bullet. Okay, you take a bullet and throw it out of your hand, it's not going to do much. The metal will hit something, whatever. But if you shoot it out of a gun, due to the speed that little bullet is traveling, that's what give it its destructive force. Mm-hmm. Now, bomb don't have to travel fast, because when it explodes, that's its destructive force. The Palestinians don't have bombs like that. Israeli got bombs like that. But what is different, these rockets they building in Gaza are German based. And now it's different because these Hamas has gained another level of experience. Now, I'm telling you, the other day I was out coming in from work, and a rocket had fell about a half mile in front of me. I didn't see it. When the alarm went off, we all took our safe position. And so as I'm riding home, I see all these Israelis and police and people over there. So I go and look, and wow, a rocket had fell right inside of this hardware store. These Israeli I know, I know the father and I know the two sons. And I saw the two sons, and I asked where was the father at, and they say he's in the hospital because some of the shrapnel hurt his leg. And I took film, and we all was looking, everybody, and then all of a sudden the alarm went off, and rockets started falling out of the sky, and we took cover. I filmed it, and the thing that I noticed is that these rockets are coming in, you could feel it. They had another energy on them. You could feel it. You could hear them. These rockets was hella loud. That's the first thing I noticed. I'm like, damn. They was deafening loud because they had an engine pushing them through the air like they hadn't been before. And then the speed that they hit is what caused them to be more devastating than the others. While we was out there surveying this particular spot where this rocket had landed, and all those other rockets four came down. All four of them hit ground. And brother, when they hit with a vengeance, man. Good God. I'm like, damn. I thought they was blowing up, because that's the thing that kind of shook me. Because when I heard them coming through the air, I thought they was missiles. Sound like Tomahawk cruise missile. And when they hit, boom, you felt the vibration. I'm looking around, damn. But they didn't. It was just the speed that they was coming in. Like, again, that bullet, when it goes fast, it's very destructive. And so as the rocket was hitting the ground, they were shaking the earth. I'm like, God damn. And one hit the side of the building up the street from where we was at. And then the people was like, hey, one hit up here, So we all went up there. I went up there with my camera because, I got family in the States. And to have someone here that you can ask, what the hell is, So I took video. It killed 2 Israeli women up there. So they all went in and, dealt with that situation. But I went on to the house because after them 4 hit, I said, "Oh, hold the hell up! This ain't my fight, and I ain't in this. Let me get my butt to the house in the my safe room, the bomb shelter." And I thought about that for days, man. I'm like, damn, these guys done went to another level. And then the next point is Israel have the Patriot missile system. It was produced by Railthon. It was a conglomeration. It was a collaboration. Railthon is American. It's a private contractor that the DoD, Department of Defense, uses to produce a lot of military armament. Railthon. They also made those cruise missiles that when Trump fired them after he was in office a few months, those that he fired over into Afghanistan, Railthon produced those missiles. And Railthon, they also developed that Patriot missile system they call the Iron Dome. And they have it all around the country. It's 24/7 monitored. They have satellites in the sky. They have planes and drones. And so anytime a missile is launched anywhere within 3 seconds, they can tell the trajectory, speed, height, weight, and they can determine where it's going to fall. And missiles that they determine in those 3 seconds to fall into open territory, they don't concentrate on those. They concentrate on the one that's going into populated area. My house is right up the street from Gaza, and we hear explosions in the sky all the time. And the building is shaking. And, the siren is going off. And so we right into the thick of things. Now, when that happened, and I'm thinking about it, damn, they done kind of, stepped up their game, Hamas. So now this shit is on another level serious. I mean, before the siren go off, nobody ran. The siren go off, everybody's still sitting. I mean, they in Tel Aviv, they out at the coffee shop, everybody's telling, well, that's Hamas shooting a rocket. And the rocket hit, and it just doesn't hit. I had a friend of mine in Beersheba. She told me, we was on the phone actually talking, and it was incredible. She said, hold on, wait a minute, something done happened. I think somebody at the front door. So she came back, she said, you ain't gonna believe this. What? She said, a damn rocket landing in the front yard. I said, a rocket? She said, yeah. That was the rocket that came in from Gaza back in the day. We on the phone, talking, and she heard something boom. She thought somebody was at the front door. Opened the door, and there's a damn rocket that came in from Gaza. But these that they doing now is nowhere near like this. This shit is hitting with a vengeance. And so anyway, another thing, Hamas has realized that the Iron Dome is only 95% effective, which means they ain't gonna get all the rockets. So what these cats been doing is sending in the barrages of rockets at the same time, 10, 20, 30, 40, 50. And so they figure, okay, so if they 95% out of these 10, 20, 30, 40, 50, something gonna hit. And they've been doing it, So this is the shit show that's going on right now. Now I'm explaining this to you, and the window is open to my bomb shelter, but my window is facing west to the Mediterranean, and they're to the south, which is, when I'm facing the window, they to my left. So my bomb shelter is in the middle of my condo, and there's a building next to me. So that kind of set up a little, protection. But if they coming up in the air and they drop down, like I saw the other, then they could literally hit. But I'm on the 8th floor, and then the penthouse above me is on the 9th floor. So I leave my window open to get air because the air blowing in from the sea. And so the other day when I was sitting there at my desk, I'm reading something, man, and I dropped off to sleep so tough, bro. I did not even hear the siren. But when that damn rocket came through, that's what woke me up, because I heard that the engine behind it. And when it hit, brother, it hit with a vengeance. I'm going to tell you, I'm not a scary type brother. I'm not the kind of brother that gets shook up real easy and get nervous and scared. I've been in firefights, gun pointed at me, robbed at gunpoint. I was down there on the border of Egypt and faced off the Israeli military with a gun on my nose, and my commander was telling me front and center and all this shit. So I ain't the kind of guy to get kind of nervous. But when that rocket hit the other day and woke me up out of my sleep, that shit jarred me. It you know, and what it is that I see that Hamas is getting stronger, you know, and that kind of got to me because they done got stronger in what they're dealing with here. And these Israelis shaking shit up like they doing at the mosque. And you got Jordan firing in. I mean, Lebanon firing in. You got Jordan raising up. This shit could turn into full-scale war. It ain't over with, but it ain't over with now. They haven't called quiet. Israel is very arrogant, telling everybody that want to come and try to make a truth, screw y'all. They literally said, we ain't interested in no damn truth. We're not interested in no talking. We're not interested in none of that. We want to end this. So they have been constantly pounding Gaza. But Gaza used tunnels. They use tunnels. They go underground and do a lot of work down, and that's where they've been storing the rockets and weapons and things underground. They got miles and miles of tunnels under the city of Gaza. Also, I was saying that Israel said they're not interested in the truth. They said that we want to totally decimate Hamas' ability to send rockets in the country. So no truth, no talking, no peace. We're going to end these guys. And you have to think and consider now, people are trying to say, hey, let's bring some peace to here. You got dead Israelis, you got dead Palestinians. You got total chaos and breakdown in the city of Lod, where it's just done turned into anarchy up there. These people are fighting like hell, not just in Lod, but several other cities across Israel. This is a real shit show that haven't ended. Now, for them to say something like that, that's pretty damn arrogant, man. I ain't want to hear no talk. Hell with that. We gonna fight till it's over with. Now, also, just give you the information. I work for a company here in Israel that do military contracts and different things. And Israel built a security wall around the city of Gaza because they use those tunnels coming into the country. And so Israel built a wall around the entire city of Gaza, but not in the air, underground, not a few feet, a few meters. This wall is 300 feet deep underground. It's 3 feet wide, concrete and steel. It goes from the sea all the way inland to about 3 miles, and it goes down 41 kilometers south toward Egypt, which is 25 miles, and then it turns. It's going to turn back out to the sea once it get over in Egypt. And this wall is 300 feet deep. They did it in order to stop the tunnel system coming into Israel. And when we was building it, we discovered four or five tunnels. And when we discovered those tunnels, it's rated the military come in and blow them up. And then 7 meters above ground with high tension steel, the type steel that you can't cut it with a disc cutter. And so all this is done. We finished it. It's there. So this situation, it ain't gonna end because what they've done to each other. The Israelis can't sit up and say, "Oh, they bombing us." We got a right to protect ourselves when you done started this shit. And then the Palestinians fighting, trying to get them up off them. Now, when they control the television and the media, you damn right they're gonna tell the shit the way they want to. Very rarely do you ever hear the other party on the mic telling what they feel. Right. One thing I noticed, I was watching the news broadcast. Like I mentioned, I watch news on several different networks. You can't get your shit from CNN because them boys is controlled. They spinning this shit, all the way around the board. They still talking about the coronavirus vaccine is safe as hell. And you got people dying and all fucked up behind that. And if they can still take your vaccine, people dropping dead, and women menstrual cycles is off, and women is coming sterile. And we know all about that. And they still sitting up CNN. It's safe in the head of the CDC. So you have to go all different places and get your news in order to get the real news.
Right.
Okay. And so I'm sitting there watching the Israeli news, and they did something that I didn't expect. They had a Palestinian commentator on there and being interviewed by one of the Israelis interviewer. And, when it went to the Palestinian dude, he said, everyone is looking at, Hamas sending missiles into Israel and Israel responding in the military. And we're looking at all of that. But no one is speaking toward why did this start? How did this get started? I'm like, oh, snap. Let me hear what he's going to say. That dude sat there and looked at the Israeli and told him this started because of one word. He said, apartheid, what Israel has been doing to us from the very beginning. All of a sudden, the Israeli turned right. He said, well, we got to go to a commercial. We're going to come right back. So, it's a real shit show. And I know you got brothers and sisters that they heavy into the Bible, into the scriptures. You got all different religion, the belief system. You got the Hebrews, you got the Jews, you got the Christian, the Armenians, the Catholic, and all different type man-made religion, belief system claiming Israel and the history, and they want to speak that. I'm not debating anybody. I'm not here to speak scriptures. I'm not here to teach a class. The only thing I can is to update you as to why this is happening. I told you that 27 days before the rocket was fired out of Gaza, the squad of Israeli police officers, they went up to Al-Aqsa Mosque in Jerusalem, and they pushed the Palestinians aside, bum rushed the place, and they cut the damn loudspeakers to the broadcast system that broadcast the prayers for the faithful. And I told you it was April 13th, the first day of the Muslim holy month of Ramadan. It also was the Memorial Day of Israel, which Israel honored those who died fighting the country. Now, when the Israeli president was talking, the Israeli was scared that those prayers was going to drown him out, so they cut the damn speakers. And that was very disrespectful. And I told you that Jordan runs and controls the Temple Mount up there where the Arabs at, and the Israeli asked the Jordanians, could they not play the prayers at the same time the president is speaking? And the Jordanians said, that was damn insult. What do you mean? This is Ramadan. We're not, so they didn't like that. And so the Israeli police went in and cut the damn wires anyway. Then you think ain't nothing going to happen behind that, but they not telling you that. That's why I'm here. I'm not here to get into debate and scriptures and all of that, because you got zillions people believe the way they believe. I don't care what you believe. You got a right to believe whatever you want. I'm not debating you and your belief, and I don't want to hear all that. That ain't my position. Right. I'm not here to debate and go back and forth. I know you got Bible scholars that can spit the Bible like a machine. Yay, great. That is not my position. There's things, and then you have people sitting up talking all the Bible stuff from America. Bring your ass over here and get involved in this if you that damn serious, and stop talking all this shit about this, that, thing in the Bible.
And I'm gonna second that and add the fact that it's a lot of our people that read the Bible that have all these different type of religions, but they don't actually speak the natural language of that religion. You know what I mean? For example, the Bible was first written, or so-called first written, in Hebrew and Greek and Sumerian and things like that. But a lot of our people just look at the translated version. You know what I'm saying? So from King James or whoever, so why are we getting these, translated version, like when we can actually learn the language and then read the some of the most original versions and just kind of go from there. You know what I mean? So I don't like to necessarily get into religion, because a lot of us just have our own opinions. Number one, there's 10 people that can read the same verse and offer 10 different things. You know what I mean? So a lot of us get into the habit of using the text for our own liking. You know what I mean? So there's always going to be a debate when it comes to religion. You know what I mean? So I want to ask you this, because I seen something interesting to me. I actually well, let's just do it like this. Friday, I went out, and just chilling, with a lady friend of mine, things like that. We just so happened to look up and look around us. We seen a lot of we seen a lot of these flags. Uh, uh, I'm bad with names. Palestinian. Am I saying it right?
Mm-hmm.
Palestinian
Yeah.
flags. First off, I was like, "What flag is that?" Kind of looked like an Egyptian flag. Then I later learned it was a Palestinian flag. People flying their flags around. Now, one thing I said, like, okay, it's Ramadan, but when I thought about it, I was just like, I never really seen them out here like this. I mean, they hanging out of cars, waving their flag, just going down the street. You'll think it's like some type of car show or some type of how somebody a team will win the Super Bowl and you seeing they waving their flags, honking their horns, So I'm seeing it like everywhere I go. I'm seeing it. Just that flag. So I find it interesting, that's going on. I'm not sure if that happened everywhere, but it definitely happened in my neighborhood, St. Louis, and things like that. People just flying the flag, you know what I mean? And I'm actually seeing some of those people with my color skin and darker, that's flying the flag. So now what comes to my mind is like a lot of people will say like, this a religious war and stuff like that. But I'm like, is it really a religious war? Or is it something way deeper than that? Because what I see is people fighting back for their land. Then on top of that, these certain people just so happen to be, or a lot of these people happen to have a specific color that, that their resemblance, you and I. Now I'm not sure if you want to speak on that or if you have anything, but I'm just looking on the outside in and seeing the things that's around me and kind of putting things together. Is this really a religious war? Or is it way deeper than that? And is this has anything to do with race, something like that? So but I'm not sure if you want to do that.
No, this is not a religious war. This is a situation that's been going on for many years. And if you want to go back thousands of years, Jerusalem has been pillaged and taken over many times. And this is not a religious war. This thing is when these Europeans came in here and took this region for themselves and made it a homeland for Jews, that kicked that off. It wasn't going to be no peace. You cannot kill my family and I kill your family, and you think we're going to get together and talk this shit out and it's going to be all cool. No, you done took my family out. I don't want to hear shit. And that's just all it is to it. So how you going to negotiate a peace when you got Israelis that done wiped out Palestinians, when you got Palestinians done wiped out Israelis? How the hell you going to negotiate? What you going to say to a person that have lost his loved one because this other man? And then what you gonna say to that man who lost his loved one because the other man? Ain't gonna be no peace. You can't negotiate no damn peace when I done lost. Man, what are you saying? I mean, you know what? A dude raped my daughter. One of my daughters got raped. The last thing his family told me, the last thing his family heard from my lip, this is not over. Damn it. Now my child got raped. I still hate the dude that did it this damn day. I will go through his ass, and they know to stay away from me. She got raped. She was going on and living and laughing and doing her thing, but I ain't forgot. And one thing I heard Farrakhan say, he was at a meeting with a bunch of Jews or whatever, and he heard them say, we Jews, we don't forgive and we don't forget. And Farrakhan, wait a minute, what the hell you talking about? Y'all Jews, you don't forgive and forget. You're supposed to be the holy people, blessing and a light and a blessing to all nations. What do you mean we don't forgive and we don't forget? Now they tried to name him anti-Semitic. Now, when they trying to box you in to shut you up, Nick Cannon, they say you anti-Semitic. Why is it that they have such power over people in the nation? Hell, they told President Biden, when this shit jumped off, they told him, don't you say nothing. You know how many billions of dollars they get from America? And they told President, shut your mouth. That's why you ain't heard too much from President Biden on this situation. Well, Israel got a right to defend themselves. You got to ask yourself why. How the hell these people is doing all this shit and telling all these lies and doing all this shit, and ain't nobody gonna do nothing to them? Then Netanyahu get over there and say the ICC, International Criminal Court, said they don't have a right to say Israel, committed a kind of crime. We don't respect that. I mean, arrogant as hell. How and why do they do that? Because they got a hell of a relationship with God or Christ? No, ain't about no damn God. They do that because they control the damn money. I know a guy over here, Aharon Shirazi, an old Israeli dude, billionaire. Opened a detail shop in a service station that he owned. I rented the space and opened a detail shop, and that's how I got to know the old dude. He has a brother in Los Angeles, over there in America, LA, that owned 3 banks, Jew boy. And in 2008, the market crashed. A lot of the customers started calling up, wanting cash because they were scared that, it was going the bottom fall out, which it did. But that is what they made happen. Because at the end of 2008, at the beginning of 2009, you had about 15 brand new billionaires. How do you come out of one of the worst economic recession, depression, whatever, in modern day, and you become a billionaire and everybody else, But anyway, this Israeli Shirazi, he has a brother out there in LA on 3 banks. And so the brother called him up here in Israel and told him, look, man, I'm in a bind. What's up? Due to the economic unrest, I got a lot of my customers calling in, they want cash, and I don't have it. Because banks, they take money and flip it, twist it, fry it, dye it, stretch it, because they just taking this money and making more money out of it, because they the banks, they can do it, and they Jews, they do it amongst themselves. And one thing the Jews has been master at is working together to gain finance. That is their God. Their number one objective is to get money at all costs. Back in slavery, when they was chased out of Europe because of slavery, because the European wasn't into slavery and the Jews went up there with that slave shit, they ran them out and they wound up in South America in the city named Suriname, and they set themselves up growing cotton and sugar cane. Sugar cane is hella harvest because when you cutting it around the bottom, these little spikes cut your hand. So it's labor intensive, and the Jews were the biggest slave dealers throughout all slavery. Not just a few years, but for the whole 400 years, they dominated slavery. Now, they lied when the Nation of Islam told about it, but the Nation of Islam did not write the book. They did not write that information. They research department did an incredible job of going and finding the Jewish author. It was the Jews themselves that wrote about their involvement in slavery. The Nation of Islam just compiled all of that information that the Jews wrote in one book and put it out and named it The Secret Relationship Between Jews. And believe it or not, when I started talking about that book, it disappeared off of Amazon because they listening and they monitoring. You see, when you running a scam and you running a trick on people, the last thing, you do not want them to discover your shit that you tricking people. Ask Bernie Madoff. Am I right? Bernie Madoff stole billions on the Ponzi scheme. What they say, he was the greatest Ponzi scheme ever. And he had all of this on an old computer under his desk that was not connected to the internet. It was just a database of who gave him money and who got money. And that's how he ran it. And so he told his sons, and because he wanted to pass it off, and the damn son told on him. But the Fed said, if that boy had never told, they would have never discovered that. So whenever you running a trick on somebody, you do not want them to expose you. And one thing about that, the Jews, they shut you down when you start speaking things to expose them. That's why they went in so hard on Farrakhan. And when he got sick, I thought they was killing him and he was going to die, but he got back off of it. But the Nation of Islam did not write the information, people. The Nation of Islam took the writing of the Jews themselves, the Jewish authors wrote about their involvement in slavery. So understand that point. They lying to you. When you go read them books, and the only place now you can get them is on the Nation of Islam website. They took them from everywhere. Hell, I bought them from the Nation of Islam. They sent them right here to me. And sometimes it's hard for me to read that shit because I'm sitting here looking and seeing the result. These people were so damn ruthless that they took slaves out of Africa into the West Indies, trade those beautiful, delicious brothers and sisters for molasses, and took the damn molasses into Europe and made alcohol out of it and took it back into Africa and made their money for it. And so all this shit you looking at today is because they got it from us. During slavery, that was two white boys, Americans, that dominated slavery in continental America from Canada to Mexico. That's where for 8 years, these two white boys. But for the 400 years, it was the Jews. When you bought a slave, you had to pay them taxes. When you sold a slave, you had to pay them taxes. They set themselves up in Suriname and gave themselves all different manner of tax breaks and breaks and incentives to do that. And even today, what they have mastered is the ability to work together. They put their coins together. They help each other. They support each other. And they go in for the money because it was Baron de Rothschild that said, I don't give a shit who is the president. Let me have the money. And Rothschild, the old man in Germany, he was a money changer back in the day. I'm talking way before all of this came. And the old man changed money, go to the money changer's place and you can send Western Union, MoneyGram, and change your money and get your little cards and your debit cards and stuff. That's what he did. And outside of the store that he worked on, it was a red star up there. And that red star let everybody know, okay, that's him changing the money. I forgot that guy's German name, the original name, I forgot it, but he changed it to Rothschild. Oh, that's another bomb. That's Israel. I can feel that. That's Israel. They just detonated one. And he changed his name to Rothschild. And if I'm not mistaken, Rothschild means red star. Rothschild, Rothchild. Rothschild means meaning. Rothschild German pronunciation is a name derived from the German Zumrathenschau with the old spelling meaning with the sign red sign. Yeah, that's it. I was right. That's it. The German Zumrathenschau. That's with the old spelling, meaning the red sign in reference to the houses where these family members lived or had lived. The name Rothschild is in Yiddish, mean red coat. Coat as the heraldic coat of arms. Okay, that's it. The red sign. Now, this guy had the German name Zumrathenschau, Shield, Schild. I think I'm pronouncing that right. Okay, and so he changed his name to Rothschild, which he was talking about the red sign that marked his money changing location in Germany. That dude was Zumrathenschilde. In the meaning of Rothschild mean with the red sign. And that sign denoted that was his money changing place. That dude went on to have 5 sons. And later on, he instructed those 5 sons to go to 5 different countries and work to get in the finance system of the country and take it over. And since then, the Rothschild number one objective was to get money. Because remember, Baron de Rothschild said, I don't give a shit who's the president. Let me control the money, because you, the president, and all your people sitting up in your class, in your meeting, y'all trying to take notes. But hell, you ain't got no pen and paper. So send somebody out to get some pen and paper so we can take note. Okay, where the money? Damn. Got to go over here and ask these Rothschild. Europe, when the back in the day, the Rothschild had the best communication network when Napoleon was fighting the war. All right, when Napoleon was fighting the war, and remember, it was Napoleon that blew the nose off the Sphinx. When he went into Egypt and he saw those gods moving around, he got jealous and he blew the nose. He commanded his cannons to blow the nose off the Sphinx, because the nose looked like yours, OC. The nose looked like mine. The nose looked like the brother. Okay, and he was jealous because when he walked around Egypt, he saw gods on earth doing God things, making God things. And so Rothschild went around and got control of world finance. All right. And these are the people that have worked tirelessly to gain control of the money. So back in the time when England, they was, the stock market and, what, yada, yada, yada. Rothschild had the greatest communication network, of even better than the government. When Napoleon won the war, the Rothschild knew it before anybody. But what they did, they lied to the people and said that Napoleon lost the war. Now, what happened? That caused the market, the stock market in London, to crash. And this is how they got the bulk of their money. How they really kicked off from slavery money, and this is how they really catapulted in where they at today. They lied and told everybody that Napoleon lost the war. He didn't, but the Rothschild was the only one that knew it. They knew it before everybody that he actually won, because the Rothschild had the greatest communication network, got information faster than anybody back in those days. Mm-hmm. So they knew how information moved the market. Mm-hmm. Good information, the market strong. Bad information, the market is weak. So the Rothschild lied and told everybody that Napoleon lost the war. So they was like, oh snap, and the market crashed. What did they do? They bought up all the stocks they could. They bought it all for pennies on the pound, pence on the pound, nothing. And then when the news finally got back that Napoleon had actually won the war, when the market came back, guess who owned everything? Them lying ass, sneaky ass Rothschilds. Now, this is a situation today why don't nobody want to be labeled anti-Semitic, because the one that's calling you anti-Semitic, the only power they have is the money. They control a lot of shit on this planet. And that's why these people do not want to tangle with them. That's the problem. They work in secret. Go ahead.
You said something powerful to me, is if you can't control the communication, you could pretty much manipulate the system. Is basically what happened, what the Rothschilds actually did, So, I mean, that's kind of similar to what's actually going on today, when it comes to all different type of wars that's going on all over the world. I feel like even when it comes to our regular relationships, it's always a communication issue, But that's powerful. You're like being able to control the communication part, and you can actually control the masses. You can control your own narrative. You know what I mean? So, I just wanted to put that out there for the people that didn't catch that. So we're going ahead. Yeah.
Yeah. So that's the situation behind that. these government and nation know how these Jews work together to deal with this money to cut you off. You know, you saw what happened to Nick Cannon. Nick Cannon, you know, he talked about he had a Jewish friend or whatever. They made him apologize and backpedal because his whole career was at the hand of them because they control Hollywood. They also got a book, The Nation of Islam, How Did the Jews Become in Control of African-American Finances? See, you know, you have to know who you're fighting. White America ain't the issue. What Americans don't realize why they all out there storming the damn Capitol, talking shit about Trump and that damn fool. America's agenda is not the American people agenda. The American agenda is the Jewish agenda. Check me out. Look deep. You'll see it. Up there in New York, there are more Jews in New York than there are over here. And they're the one that's sucking that money out of America. They take the money of America and tell them, sit your ass down and shut up. That's why you ain't hearing Biden jumping up and down about what's going over here. Then the guy told you about the bank, Aharon Shirazi, his brother owned them banks out there in LA. When I told you that, you know, they do all kind of deals with the money. They don't necessarily have cash just sitting around. They had to order it from the feds when you want your cash. So he didn't want to order it from the Fed because, you know, you got to pay Fed back interest. So what he did, he picked up the phone and called up here to his brother, Shirazi, told him, look, I got a situation, dude. What's up? He said, man, I got these people making a run on the bank for cash and I don't have it. I need some money. He said, okay, how much you need? He said, to cover everything, I need $200 million. Shirazi, the brother, sent it straight over there from Israel. That was up with 1 billion shekels, just like that on a 2-3 minute phone call. That's the kind of financial strength they have, and that's why they get to do the shit they do, and nobody touch them. But, just like they say, Rome would never die, the shit fell over. You know what I'm saying? Now, you can go around and pounce and trade. Now, another thing that I want to point out that's really, really unique, these ultra-Orthodox, you know, the Dati, the ultra-Orthodox, they going through some real strange shit right about now. What I mean is this. You probably heard about 45 of them getting killed up there on Mount Meron. That's a celebration they have here called Lag BaOmer, where they go and celebrate a dead rabbi. Now, remember now, you know, don't forget that these people parading around like they some special people with a great relationship with some God. You know, they say he's so sacred, they don't want to call his name Yahweh, Yuahei. You pronounce it Yahweh because you want to exhale Yahweh. You know, in English, it looks like Yahweh, but in Hebrew, Yahweh. They don't want you to say it, so they'll write it out, and they'll say, instead of saying his name Yahweh, they'll say Chadosh Baruch. But that's what they're talking about. So they parade as if they got a super duper upa relationship with this incredible God. Okay, that's your thing. Whatever floats your boat, yeah, whatever, do your thing. But when I'm sitting back looking, they done went through some deep shit in the past few weeks. Why I say that? They up there at their religious Dati, Rabbi Schnitznitz or whatever his name is. He dead, and they go up there, tens of thousands of these super duper ultra religious people with the God, and wind up dead. No, wait a minute, hold up, wait a minute, slow down, stop. Hold up, what you saying, brother? These super duper ultra religious people got the whole world scared to say anything about them because they gonna be labeled as anti-Semitic. They go up to a mountain once a year and celebrate this dead rabbi. Okay, yay, you know, you do your thing, whatever. I ain't got no problem with that. But 45 of them ran up dead because the floor fell up under them. And they crushed, they started stampeding, and 45 dead, 150 injured, bad. And I'm saying, Shazam, where's your God at? I mean, he couldn't hold up the floor to keep y'all from falling. I'm like, dude, you know, because it's like, look, you put gas in the car, you expect it to go. If you pray to God and you be all righteous, you expect a little help.
They're supposed to be the chosen ones, right?
That's what they say. They holier and thou and righteous.
Interesting.
And so, I'm like, wait a minute, where's your God at? I mean, he can't break y'all off a little something, Okay, that's one incident. But what they didn't tell you is that when this happened, the military came in to help them get the dead bodies out, tend to the wounded, because the military got all that type of personnel and equipment to handle crises like that. These goddamn heathens start spitting and kicking on the babies. Now I'm real damn sensitive because I got children that serve there. I got two that serving, and when the military to come help your ass through a crisis, you spit and kick on the damn babies. Most of those soldiers out there are just children, bro. 17, 18, 19, 20 years old. Hell, some of the commanders is 20. My son is 22, staff sergeant. So you talking about babies came to help your wicked ass in a time of crisis. Some of your folks dead and some of them injured. And goddamn it, you gonna spit and kick on the babies that came to help your ass? What kind of fucking righteous people is that? Do shit like that. Don't hear no shit about no goddamn righteousness. When them children came to help your ass in the time of crisis, that's the kind of shit that people don't hear because they control the network and they don't say that shit. They tell how corrupt and evil they be. Then, now here just the other day, somebody sent me a text. They was at another gathering. I just got this yesterday. They was at another gathering and the flow fell out and again they in the damn situation. These are the same people. And so what I'm saying is that shit is being revealed like never before about who is who. All you have to do is step back a little bit off of it and look and stop looking at a portrait and look at a picture. Stop looking at a picture and look at a portrait, because as long as you look at a little picture, you're going to see just a little bit. But if you back up a little bit and look at a portrait, you'll be able to see a bigger picture. And the shit don't add up. If you that daggone righteous and you that holy and you got this incredible relationship with your creator ain't loving you enough to help you through a situation like that. So these are the things that the people have to look and consider. And this is what's happening now because of the fact that everything is different. We at a time of incredible change on planet Earth with mankind. All of these wicked rulers and all of these wicked individuals that have caused incredible pain and suffering on mankind, their days are over with. That's just it. Even the European, bro, the birth rate of this bandit is at an incredible low. He know it, I know it, they know it, other people know it. They have 1,000 people that died yesterday. Today they only get 700. So they shot 300. And as that cycle keep going, then they know exactly when they first in America gonna become the minority, and second, they know according to their records and statistics, they know when they're gonna be extinct on this planet. And so it's like, you mad because you lost. You're a sole loser. And so instead of just, taking the loss as a champ, upright person, say, all right, you got me on that time. Good job. They going out raggedy. They want to tear up and screw up and tear every damn thing up on the way out for everybody else. But it's okay. We gonna get past all of that too. So old man told me once, he said, young buck, all you got to do is stay healthy and keep living. They gonna be gone. And now, I'm seeing that. I'm seeing that. They're dying out and we getting stronger. All of this wisdom, knowledge, and understanding is being proliferated to our people about diet and health and exercise. When I was in America, I had been in Israel for 25 years. I went back to America to see family and do things and, whatever. I noticed that I didn't see any sisters cleaning. Nothing. I didn't see sisters cleaning offices. I didn't see sisters cleaning houses. I didn't see any of that. What I did see were sisters doing businesses. They own businesses and they doing all type of doctors and lawyers and entrepreneurs and, doing all kind of powerful things, not cleaning. And that made me feel good. I was impressed. And then the other thing that I didn't see is a lot of people smoking cigarettes, and what I did see was a lot of whole food, health food, a lot of knowledge about eating and how to take care of yourself. And that's good because like the old man told me, young buck, all you got to do is stay healthy and keep living. They're going to be gone. But when I got back to Israel, I noticed a lot of Israelis smoking. I mean, I went to the States. I stayed 3.5 years. I worked as a crane operator with the local union 487B out of Miami. So I'm operating cranes. I'm moving around, hanging out with the family, just, whatnot like that, sending money back to the family in Israel every paycheck. And then I came back to Israel for 7 months. And then I went back out there for another 3.5 years. And so when I got back to Israel, that second set of 3.5, it was so many young Israelis smoking, man. I mean, just smoke everywhere. And, I don't smoke and it bothered me and I noticed it. And then the other thing, everybody cleaning up over here mostly are Ethiopian. Ethiopian got them brooms and mops and cleaning. And, you have, a number of Ethiopians, they doing office work and professional work too. But you always see them cleaning and a few Russians. And so that whole white superiority kind of thing, it's over here too, it's over here too. But I feel good when I saw that our people were more conscious of being healthy, not smoking cigarettes, and doing businesses and professional thing. Even brothers, man, when I was in Atlanta, I mean, a business like they go get a trailer, pull behind the car with a generator, a big tank of water and a high pressure washer. And they be out on the corner washing cars, making money. I mean, those type businesses, micro businesses, things like that, it's different now. But, our people are coming up. And I'm excited. I'm excited because we're fortunate to live in a time that we can see the downfall of this barbarian that has been ruling the world. Yeah, things are screwed up right now, and it's just like all over the planet. You see protests and chaos and pandemonium and all those things. But I don't want to leave with just, given this bad situation and, the people feel like, damn, gloom and doom. But it's kind of exciting when you know and understand that we're in a threshold of change on planet Earth, and we're here to witness it. And we're going to live through it and come out on the other side smelling like a rose. So don't be discouraged. Don't be dismayed. Whatever you got to do to, get the stress off you. And stress is the way you perceive your reality. People, somebody get a light bill in the house. And at the time you receive that light bill, you don't have the money to pay for it. And so what happens? You start tripping, you get tense and damn light bill. I ain't got no money to cover this. But the light bill, wait a minute now. This is a piece of paper with some ink printed on it that tells you got to pay this much money on this bill. And you standing there tripping because you don't have the money at that time. Now you got some time to pay the bill with 1, 2, 3 months. I don't know, but they not saying pay this damn money right now. As soon as you get this letter in your hand, we're gonna come whoop your ass. They just said, hey, have the money paid by this particular time. And then even if you go past that time, you're still good. They ain't gonna come and cut your light off. They'll send you another piece of paper saying, where the money at, past due and all that. The point I'm making is that stress is the way you perceive your reality. You got the bill and you tripping. You feel bad. You don't put the bill down and you still got this ill feeling on you because damn light bill done came and you don't have the money. Listen, You mean to tell me you're going to be so weak-minded that a piece of paper that started from a tree, somebody cut the tree down, cut it up, pounded it, processed it, and made it a piece of paper, and then somebody else put some ink in a printer somewhere and printed this bill out and sent it to you. You don't know who brought it to you. You don't know who handled it coming through the post office, but it wound up in your hands from a source that you really don't know that started out of a tree, and now you tripping. Stress is the way you perceive your reality. You don't have to stress over this shit because of the fact this ain't real. We passing through here. This is not the end for us. Yeah, I know it is, huh?
Yeah, I'm gonna give you this example to expound on what you just said. I know in the past, and sometimes even today, it may hit me. You know, when it comes to this piece of paper that we so-called need to buy these different things, get these different tangibles and things like that. Often, brothers and sisters, anytime that we are broke or we don't have enough money for different things or to get what we want, our energy is like all low. We feeling bad. You know what I'm saying? We not even ourselves if we don't have any money on us, you know, or money to spend. You know, we spend all our money on bills, for example, you know, and we so-called broke. You know what I'm saying? Our energy is low, you know. But I feel you with what you're saying as far as not letting that control you, because there's a joke. I'm not sure if you heard it. I think Cat Williams actually said, or maybe it wasn't Cat Williams, maybe it was Eddie Griffin or something like that. But he said something where, you know, the light bill, you know, was due, then the lights instantly it got cut off, you know. So they hit the blunt. Then all of a sudden it's like, you know what? Forget these. Like I've been waiting to light these candles anyway, you know, and just all in good spirits. You know what I mean?
Right,
So you know, I feel you. What you're saying is basically a mentality. You know what I'm saying?
Right.
So not to be controlled by these materialistic things or these things that don't really matter. You know what I mean? So like you said, it's just made out of paper and stuff like that. A lot of our money, it's not even backed up by gold or anything. It's just legal tenders, you know. It's fiat. It doesn't mean anything. You know what I mean? So to let these type of fictitious things actually control who we are as a person, you know, flesh and blood human being, you know, we shouldn't do that. We should always be in good spirit and finding different ways to, you know, basically sow seed and do live in high vibrations and good energy, you know. So yeah. So I want to ask you this, you know, because I end up seeing things like online, people saying different things about what's going on where you at, and as far as the war or the battle in general, you know, things that's been coming from our brothers and sisters, things like that. So they ask this question, like, why should we care? Like, why should we even care about, you know? And I'll give you this example, because this actually happened, you know, in the U.S. You know, let's say 9/11, for example. Someone, you know, there's conspiracies out there, but anyway, someone hit the towers, you know, and they blame it on such and such or whatever. A lot of my people were just like, dang, that's crazy that happened to them, you know, like. We personally feel like it had nothing to do with us. You know what I'm saying? So with that said, you know, do you feel that they have anything to do with Black people, what's going on over there, or just in general? You know, because a lot of people are saying that they don't got nothing to do with us. We got our own problems. You know, so. Let it be, you know, stuff like that. But what do you feel about those type of people, or just that question in general?
Well, you know, I can understand, you know, our people feel like, you know, what's happening between these two groups of people have nothing to do with us. Uh, Directly, they're correct. They don't have nothing to do with us directly, but spiritually, it has a lot to do with us, being that this is Northeast Africa.
Mm-hmm.
Okay, it is Northeast Africa. When they cut the Suez Canal through between Egypt and Israel, does not mean Israel is now part of Europe. Israel is actually Northeast Africa. And according to ancient days, everything in this region were black people, brown, not black, beautiful brown Nubian brothers and sisters. Our ancient roots are tied here, but not every single brother and sister out of in America is actually from some parts of Africa. Remember, you had a lot of indigenous people already there before the Europeans set foot into that land. There were over 59 million indigenous people that were there before the Europeans stepped in the land, named Christopher Columbus. They say is a great discoverer. Well, he actually wasn't a great discoverer. He discovered that his dumb ass didn't know that there were 59 million people there. That's what he discovered. Oh, y'all here. That was the discovery. But he wasn't a great explorer, because history shows that the Nubian African brothers and sisters were traveling throughout the world many, many eons, long before they even knew how to build a boat. So spiritually, this is the land of the African brothers and sisters. And it is said that whoever controlled Jerusalem spiritually, in fact, controlled the world. And so our hands are tied into it spiritually because of who we are, what it is. Before this place was named Africa, it was called Kush. Kush. And if I believe not mistaken, there was another name also. But this was the land of Kush before it was named Africa. That white boy that came through here, Africana, this is what they named this land after, that white dude that came through here. But I'm sure some of your listeners know the name that I can't remember right now, before that it was called before Kush. And so spiritually, this is our homeland. And another thing that our people should know is more people around the world know about us, who we are, what we stand for, our land, language, and culture, spiritual significance and connection to this land. You take the Russians as an example. Do you know that the language that the Russians are speaking today was actually created by an African brother named Alexander Pushkin?
Mm-hmm.
Alexander Pushkin, he created the Russian language. That language that they are speaking was created by an African brother. Now, here's another point. In Russia, and I have videos of this, man, I would have tried to upload it, but there's a church in Russia, and they really all over Russia, that these two Russians goes in, a man and woman, and they bow before the pictures on the wall, their deity that they worship.
Mm-hmm.
Every last one of them pictures up there are beautiful black people, darker than me and you. And even the Russian guy that comes in the church, when he stopped right inside the door, right above him is a picture of another beautiful black person. This is in Russia right today, where they're worshiping the images of like the Black Madonna, the woman and the baby, the sister. And then now, because they're speaking a language that was created by a spiritually inspired African king, the language that the Russians speaking being created by an African Edenic king actually keeps those people, every time they open their mouths, spiritually connected to Africa. Here in Israel, you have a lot of Russians moving around, just a whole bunch of Russians. See, I was here when it was Arabs doing everything. Arabs was farmers, Arab was a mechanic, the drivers, they was all over the place. And I was here when they began to bring Russians in, and the Arabs were pushed back, like disappeared. Where the Arabs go? the Russian came in, and I've had such an incredible relationship with many Russians. And no, I don't speak, all the language, no, just a couple of words here and there. But spiritually, we have an incredible connection. And, me and my children, we would always talk about how the Russians real cool. Now, the Russian women, they dress like everywhere they going is the fashion show. They could go out in the morning. We used to watch them. They would get up and go out in the morning to get a stick of margarine to grab something from the store right quick for the breakfast for the children. Them girls would come out their house like they going to the evening affair. Heels, matching, shoes, purse, dresses, hair done. And I'm like, Shazam, was she waiting to go do this? And then they have this swag about them. Even the older Russian women, they come out be dressed. The men don't carry like that. The men, they cool, they real cool with us, right? And I used to wonder, and it dawned on me one day when I discovered that the African brother created the language that the Russians speak, the Russian language being created by African brother. If he hadn't have done that, they would be speaking French. But because the African Edenic brother created that language with a spirit, the language keep them connected to us as a people. And that's why they have such an incredible comfort with us, because they're speaking an African Edenic language that was created by the African. I mean, you African brother Alexander Pushkin, what language you gonna create? A European? No. And so spiritually, we're tied to this land, being that this is homeland for many brothers and sisters. Now, I know you have a lot of brothers and sisters that know they are not from Africa, and that's true. That's absolutely true. Then you have a lot of brothers and sisters that is from Africa. That's true. That's absolutely true. And so those of us that know we from Africa and we, claim this as ours, that's how this ties in. And, indirectly, it don't have nothing to do with us, but it does, because why? They're being cleansed out. You see, we won't have to go in and pick up arms and go fight them and come in and take over and then be, having to fight for years because you done killed up all their people. They doing it themselves. And so as they cleanse each other out and fight and it's overturned, then the rightful owners will show up in peace. In peace. And I know you have a lot of brothers and sisters that could break that down according to the Bible. But again, I'm not here to debate, with anyone, because, people believe what they want, and everybody have a right to believe what they want. And I'm not going to argue or debate based upon what you believe, because if you believe it, that's your truth. And, I respect that. You want to believe this, that, and another thing. Yay. Ain't no fight with me. I believe what I want to believe because I believe it's the truth, and I'm going to hang on to it, and ain't nobody going to change that. And you're going to believe what you want to believe because you believe it's the truth. You're going to hang on to it, and I'm not trying to change it because that's what you believe. Now, if people want to hear what I'm saying, great. If you don't want to hear it, turn the damn thing off and keep going. It's just that simple. Ain't no fight, But, yeah, we have a lot to do with it because it is, in fact, ours, and we're watching them destroy themselves. It's just that simple. So it's a good time for us to be alive because we get to watch it. And for those that know, it's a beautiful time because you was waiting on this to happen. And now here it is. And so, people, I'm getting so many phone calls when this jumped off. I couldn't rest at all from the bombing, the sirens, and the phone call. Concerned, family members, concerned friends, and people that wanted to know. And I answered the phone, every time. I never turn my phone off. You know yourself when you call, I pick that phone up because communication is my pet peeve. And so, our people have to understand that those that are from this region of the world, this belongs to you. This is your land. The Pope of Rome said to have 1 billion followers. The Pope bow down before the Black Madonna. And over there, when they showing you the Pope, they will not raise that camera up enough for you to see him standing on that beautiful black queen holding that baby. You see, our people, a lot of folks don't know, man, the power of the Nubian brothers and sisters. Man, please get out of here. Look, I may not be the smartest brother. I may not have the body like Atlas, and I may not be able to have all the money that they got. But one thing, I am really glad, brother, that I am born a beautiful, delicious Nubian king. You hear me? I ain't one of them, and I'm happy for that. Can you imagine if I had came out Daniel, a Mark, a Matthew? I'd be like them up there learning how to dance. Can you imagine that? You paying somebody to teach you how to dance. What? Man. Oh man, I know this brother. He has a school, bro. He teaches people how to dance, man. I'm like, what? Do you make any money doing that? Cause us, who taught you how to dance? Nobody. You watched it, you got into it, you the rhythm, you do your thing. But there are people, bro, that's here, that's paying the brother to teach them how to dance. Unfreaking believable. But the dude got a great business, a great life, always living good. And I just shook my head. I said, people pay you to teach them how to dance? Really? You making the money doing it? Okay, man. Okay. Okay, it's all right, man. It's okay. But the dude make good money, OC. Got a nice place, living good. And you got to be making some money. That dude live in Tel Aviv. Tel Aviv is one of the highest damn real estate in the world, bro. And he living large, teaching folks how to dance. Can you imagine that?
I seen some crazy videos, some crazy things on people teaching other people how to dance,
How to dance.
I looked at them, I'm like, this person don't even know how to dance for real, but they making money. Wow. Okay.
You know what I'm saying?
Interesting.
Just think, if I were born on the other side, hell, I could have been in that class learning how to dance.
Hip hop instructions and everything, So all from a Caucasian. They don't know nothing about hip hop. Man, it's hilarious.
Now I'm gonna say this, close out. Now, listen, we done talked and everything, and we done said a lot of stuff that's true, and we got a lot of people that know a whole lot of stuff. But on the flip side, I want to just say, me being here in Israel, I've been fortunate. Okay, now I'm speaking to the Israelis that I know over the 40 years I've been here. That's been some upright friends. I can't go out and not speak to them, to the people that's still listening. Yes, the Israelis, yes, they do shit. They drive crazy. They get arrogant, and they the only people in the world worth anything, and yada, yada, yada. Yes, we know all of that. But for the ones like Yossi, the ones like Shai, the ones like Doron, Daniel, Ronan, Chaya. I have to raise them up because these Israelis, Michelle, over the years, they have been really, really special friends to me, and these are the Israelis that don't get any shine. They've been there for me. I did a video on a YouTube, and I talked about this guy that helped me out when I went a little bit too far in celebrating the party we was at, and I was sitting in the street, and he helped me out. Black guy. I didn't Tel Aviv, And I have to say to them, that we see you. And these are the Israelis that I know personally, 40 years. They ain't trying to do nothing but just live. They're not trying to bomb Hamas. They're not trying to do nothing racist against black folks. They're not trying to be ultra-Orthodox Haredi. These are the ones that slipped through the crack that nobody know about. They're not trying to kill Arab, black people, nobody. They here. And so I have to give a shout out to those, get them a little shine because they here and we know you here and we see what you're doing. So I'm saying what? No, I'm not a hater of people because they white or green or blue or yellow. I don't carry that. No, I'm not racist because living in Israel, I've learned, another side to this. I came out of America a racist because growing up in Atlanta, Georgia, I tasted it. Organic racism. And so I came out of America with a lot of hate in my heart for white people. Yes, I did. I can honestly say that because growing up in the South like that back in the 60s, I experienced it. I came to Israel with some more white folks. I'm not saying that they are not racist. They are. I'm just speaking to the ones that never get no shine. Just like in America, some cool, white people that done did you good. And you know that through the time. And that makes me no more racist. All the hate and anger has been washed away because of the love and kindness that I have experienced here dealing with some of these, Israelis up close. And we've had conversation. I mean, listen, bro, we done went deep into it. The N word, been all over that, and they ask questions and come to find out they just don't know. And then I thought about my own people in America and I don't even, the things that I know and just like have taken for granted. A lot of our people just honestly don't know. When I asked that boy, why did Hitler start killing the Jews? He Hitler started killing the Jews because of where I know he was a bad guy. I'm saying, what was it that caused Hitler to start killing the Jews? Because I know he was a bad guy and everything like that, but again, every action caused. He just honestly didn't know. And then when I talked to my brothers and sisters, when I went back to the state, it was a lot of basic stuff they just didn't know. One brother was having issues with his back. And, he said he hadn't had any injuries. He didn't play sports. He don't exercise. But, his back was hurting him. And I asked him, how many times do you go to the bathroom to move your bowels? He said, oh, man, maybe once or twice a week. And he said it as if once or twice a week was normal. I said, dude, you know what your problem could be? I said, you could have trapped gas down there because you ain't moving your bowels, but once or twice a week. I said, okay, that once or two times that you go do, how long did you stay in? He said, oh, man, I sit on the toilet, man. Shit, sometimes my legs go to sleep trying to get this shit out of me. I said, that could be your problem, bro. You could be just backed up. Do you eat fruit? Hell no. Okay. What do you eat most? Man, chicken. I'm that chicken nigga. Man, I got to have that buzzer. Oh, so you like that barnyard pimp on you like that buzzer. Oh, man, all day long. So you probably clogged up, bro, and need an enema. He said, an enema. He said, what is an enema? Now, here I am looking at a grown man that don't know what an enema is. And I'm saying, wow. Our children know about enemas. And so I told him what it was. He said, oh, hell no, I ain't want that. That's an exit. They ain't no. But then I talked with him about the cleansing process. And he did it. In a few days, he came back praising that, wow, bro, you was right on. I feel so much better. And so as I, give a little shine to these Israelis, I don't even call them Jews. I call them Israelis, because the Jewish guys, they the one that just been some clowns. But these particular Israelis that, have shown me so much favor and love and appreciation are here. And a lot of things, that the world see them as, Arab killers and things. They not really into that. But at the same time, those that came before this generation took it. And that's how they run around here, getting to live the way they live. And, when I was fellowshipping with my people back home, it's a lot of things that our folks just honestly don't know. And that don't make them bad people. That don't make our brothers and sisters dumb. It just means they don't know. And that's why I speak and I talk, and I want to give the information to give you a chance to know. You understand? And being over here in Israel, it's a multicultural country, just like America, and it's concentrated because everybody is coming here. And then just like in New York is a multicultural city. Atlanta is a multicultural city. And even for the Palestinian, I've had great love and respect from them also. I don't, the energy that I give out, the energy that an individual give out, he gets a response for that. Like I said, for every action, there's an equal and opposite reaction. If you come off like an asshole, you're going to get treated like an asshole. But if you come off as a better person, you get treated as a better person. And that's the pathway that I've taken. I've sat in many Arab tents and drank the coffee. Oh, boy. Why did I think of that? Listen, man. Woo! The first time I had that coffee that the Arabs drink, man, it blew me away. It was the most terriblest coffee I ever had in all my years. That jive is, and so I didn't understand it. I didn't know. I didn't know, man. I'm like, what the hell is this? But I got to go with it because I'm doing business. I own a construction company. I needed some workers, and they was the skilled one. And so, you just don't. They cultural. I was all in Africa. It's culture, man. You don't run up in nobody's house and just get the yapping. You got to sit down first, take your shoes off, sit down, get relaxed, get your water, eat a little something. Y'all talk a little bit. He may be over there smoking this that stuff they smoke is called Sheba. Is it Sheba? I think it's Sheba. Got a nice little sweet smell. So y'all sit down and chill. Then you start talking. So they served the coffee, and I didn't want to be rude. So I got the coffee and I got the sipping. That shit was so terrible. But I had to hold it together, man. I looked at the cup. What the hell? What the hell is this? It looked like coffee. It smelled like coffee. But it's damn sure it tastes like coffee. And so I saw the old man with the moat, and pounding these green beans. And I'm watching him, and I'm thinking, what is he doing? So he pound up these green beans. And the beans they put in there for flavor. And the beans is like green lentils. And green lentils got a strong taste. But so I made it through the cup of coffee. And they call that stuff Heil, Heil. It's for flavor. And they say it's good for you. So I've sat in the Arab tent and drank the Heil, but then I found out they drink tea too. And so when I went back the next time, I asked him for some tea. And the tea was so daggone sweet. I'm like, damn, I wanted tea. I didn't want sugar with a little tea. I wanted tea. So this is cultural things, man, you know. And the Arabs have treated me warm, invited me to their homes. And I went and fellowship with them. I sat with Israelis and fellowship with them. And these are the people that's on the ground that never get no shine. Nobody never know. And, you know, the world is what it is. You have good people and bad people of all race, creed, and culture. And to hold hate in your heart for a specific group of people for no justifiable reason is wrong. At the end of the day, it's wrong. Now, if someone has done something to you, you justify it. But if you just generally been moving around everything and ain't nobody really done nothing to you, okay, then it's like 6 in one hand, half a dozen in the other. It's based upon what you believe, what you desire. But I'm speaking to the individual that may be holding some hate for another race of people for no justifiable reason. I'm not saying that if they have done something to deserve that, then that's a different rap right there. It's a different conversation. And so, you know, I appreciate those Israelis that have given me so much love and consideration. And before I go, while I'm speaking about this, is one that died not too long ago. And his name is Yossi Aluz. And I just want to share this story with you, great brother. So, you know, we leaving in peace and in balance. Yossi Aluz was a senior Israeli guy that I take this condo from. It's a beautiful place. Looking over here by the Mediterranean. And, you know, the rent, you know, I paid, I worked, no problem. The old man, you know, what have you. But I had got in an accident at work and I couldn't work. And I was concerned about being able to pay the rent on this place. And it's in a, you know, nice area, you know, it's a nice area. And they can get some of the highest rent in the place. And when you sell them, they can go for some of the highest prices. So, you know, here I'm not working and I don't know how I'm gonna cover this rent because I just went through, you know, some rough financial season and I was pulling myself back together. And I had this accident on the job, I couldn't work. And when I called Yossi to tell him, you know, look, accident, not working, you know, rent, you know, da. I didn't know what to expect, but I did want to give him a heads up. And he said, what happened? I told him what happened. And he said, so how you doing? I said, I'm in a lot of pain. You know, it messed my ligaments in my knee and I'm walking around on a walker and I can't work. And I wanted to talk to you about the rent to see what could be done. He said, first thing, don't talk to me about money. Don't talk to me about the rent. He said, you on an accident. He said, you've been in my place. You pay your rent, you work, you know. He said, I know you're good. He said, so listen, that place I bought right out with a check. It's my retirement. Every money that you give me goes in my pocket. He said, so I'm not like most people. They buy and rent and double the mortgage in the rent and half go in their pocket and half go to the mortgage. He said, everything you give me goes in my pocket. So don't talk to me about money. First thing, you concentrate on getting well. I'll cover the light bill, the water bill, The Arnona is the property tax. You get well. That's the first thing you concentrate on. Now I'm gonna tell you, bro. Look, in the process of getting healthy, when you done came back from an accident, being able to be in the proper mental mindset is key. But when you worried and stressed about bills and how you're gonna take care of your family, and you got stuff on your mind, it slows down the healing process because you worried. When that man said that to me, bro, it changed everything. I mean, the pain in my knee kind of went away, and I felt a lot better. And then not only did he not worry me about the rent and paid the bills, he gave me money to buy food. One day he just picked up the phone and called me out the blue. Hey, what's going on? How you doing? How you feeling? I said, I'm good. He said, let me ask you something. What's happening with your refrigerator? I say, what do you mean? I'm thinking, maybe somebody told him it ain't working. I'm trying to, why you at? Why? He said, what's in it? He said, you got something to eat down there? Because, he lived upstairs in the penthouse and I stayed on 8. He stayed on 9. He done moved out, built him a mansion. He moved. But I said, Yossi, no, man, I ain't really got nothing to eat. So he gave me money and I bought food with it. And he did that twice. So this is an Israeli that he done died and gone on. But I'm mentioning this because, we can be real mean and hateful to people in the world, and we really don't know them. And, we can look at white folks and call them crackers and heathens and all of that, and a lot of them are. But the one that's not, they need a little shout out. And even for them to call us the N word and all terrible things, and we're not, we need a little shout out. Because, all brothers ain't terrorists. All brothers ain't criminals and sisters and crazy. So I'm speaking to this in order to kind of, give a little hope and help our people to wade through this madness and understand that everybody ain't our enemy. We have allies that come in all forms, shapes and sizes. And, this guy wife told me he got sick and they took him to the hospital and I went to see him. I didn't know him. When I went up, his wife told me, Yos is in the hospital. I'm like, what? What's going on? She told me. And, I sat there and told her about Dr. Sebi. And I translated it all in Hebrew and she read it and she took her time and went through it. And she said, wow. She said, this actually true? Is he that good? I said, absolutely. He has a facility in Honduras. Mm-hmm. I said, I want you to tell Yossi about it. And she looked at me. She said, you know what? You tell him. I said, why? She said, because you know what? Yossi really, really respects your word. When you tell him something, it hits in his heart. I said, okay. So he got out of the hospital and came back. And I went up to see him. And we got to talking about it. He said, my wife tell me that you know of somebody that could, help me out. I said, yeah, it's a man named Dr. Sebi. And I told him about it. And he says, is he that good? I said, absolutely. I said, look, this brother is so good. You all to leave out of Israel, old people, and you come back teenager and you start making a whole bunch of new babies. They laugh. What? He said, let's go. So he told his wife, you ready to go? I said, yeah, let's go. He said, we're going to come back and make some more babies. She said, that we ain't going to do. So anyway, so I'm just sharing that, with the people, bro, because as we look around, it's getting more and more hate filled. And like these people running around the street, and it's amazing. They were living neighbors side by side. Now I see them out in the street battling each other. Our people has to be our number one focus. So far as what we're going to do, how we going to mitigate this, manage this, and pull through all this. It's like we mentioned that the brothers and sisters in Black Wall Street, they worked together, they came together, and they worked with each other. In somehow, some way, shape, form, or fashion, we as a family, we're going to have to get to a point where we can begin to work together with each other. That's the only way we're going to make it. As a family, working together. All of these different divisions that we got going on between us is not helping us. Being Hebrews, how has that benefit us? Being Christian, how has that benefit us? Being Muslim, how has that benefit us? Being Catholic, how has that benefit us? Being atheist, how has that benefit us? None of those belief systems has brought us together as one family. As a matter of fact, they have kept us separated as a people, and our enemies has used it to his advantage. One day, some way, shape, form, or fashion, we as a people are going to have to get together mentally, spiritually. Mm-hmm. Or if not, it could get worse. It could get worse. You know, this is the last thing I'm gonna say, and I'm gonna move on. I have a friend in Ghana, West Africa, beautiful sister named Linda Antry. And when I met her, when I was down, I came back to Israel, and I sent her money, $100 every month. I did that for like 2-3 years. And one day, her mother got on the phone, and they speak Tree. This particular tribe, they speaking Tree. Mm-hmm. And Linda said, my mother want to talk to you. And I remember, I said, but your mother, she speak English now? She said, no, I'll translate. And so her mother got on the phone, and she was speaking, just going on. And then Linda translated, and she said, my mother wants you to know that she is exceedingly grateful and thankful for all the help you've given the family. And brother, I had no idea, because I had never said nothing to a mother. When I was down there in Ghana, I used to, go visit a mother and hang out with, the father and everything. And I'm kind of puzzled, like, what help have I given the family? But see, when in doing those days, Linda was working at a floral shop, and she made $50 a month. She worked 7 days a week, 12 hours a day. She brought home $50 a month. 25 of those dollars went to transportation, getting her back and forth to work. So what I'm saying, the sister actually brought home $25 a month in her pocket. I was sending her $100 every month, every single month without fail. And it happened so much, I guess it touched the mother to a point where she wanted to just say to me that she was exceedingly thankful for all the help that I had given her. I didn't understand what she meant, because I hadn't done nothing for the family. I just sent Linda the $100. But you see, right there, it was showing me just how culturally unrich, and I didn't have any culture coming out of the West. Those people in all these countries, not just Africa, the Philippines and China, different places, they work together as a family. We used to say the Chinese move in, buy the store, and live above the store, and all them work in the store and put their coins together. Next thing you know, they done bought the damn building, because they work together. Mm-hmm. This sister was taking that $100, which was a hell of a lot of money back then, and she was assisting the whole family. And the mother knew that she had met her brother one time that it came to Ghana and had been gone for 2 years and was still sending money there every month. And the mother just wanted to thank me. And what she said was, I want to thank you for all the help that you've given my family. And I finally grew to realize that families work together. That girl was getting that money and was buying food and helping her whole family, uncles, cousins, brothers, mom, everybody. But it'd be a sad situation where families won't do that. We know families that maybe one or two of the family members that went on to great success and don't want to have nothing to do with the rest of the family, And so that's a sad state of affairs. So that's the end and monologue to say that it's not over with. Don't let all this bullshit that you see taking place cause you to be, dismayed and cause your heart to be troubled. But understand that we're on a threshold of change, and the rightful owners, the rightful rulers of this world are being repositioned. And as a people, I'm speaking about us as a people, Some people say black people, some people say Nubian people, brothers and sisters, but you know I'm talking about our family first. Family first. We, some way, shape, form, or fashion, have to get to where we can work together. That be about the only way we're going to make this next realm. In order to enter into the next realm, we're going to have to enter into the next realm as a family. Great brother, I don't have words to say how exceedingly thankful I am that you allow me to come on and speak to you and those beautiful brothers and sisters that hung out with us for all this time. Mm-hmm. I want to say thank you to them. I know, I done talked a long time, and that's just simply because I love you. This is pure love. I love you pure. And, to be a part of the brothers and sister family, the Nubian family is an incredible, fortunate gift. Just like other people run around and try to flaunt like they all this and that, and they all taking it after us. We're the ones. We are the ones. Consider yourself blessed and fortunate to be a part of this great family. Love yourself. I love the fact that the sisters are going natural. We can play in their hair again, because when that weave and track is all up there, don't touch my hair. But I can get up there and play in their hair and scratch her scalp and part it and grease the scalp and massage her scalp, and she love it, Mm-hmm. And so we're coming back, brother. I know, we as a people, we can be looking a certain kind of way, but I love you, brother, with the perfect love, no homo, and you don't gotta say that. I taught some Israeli friend, no homo. I told him, like, in 21, you got to be clear, because we got a lot going on up in here, so you don't want to send out the wrong signal. So in Hebrew, it says, no homo. So we got all type of people moving around, and you just want to make sure you don't be misunderstood, because you don't want to send the wrong signal out and get something going that ain't really there. So I love you, bro. No homo. And this is how we got to get with each other, man. And I'm good, so I'm gonna go on and ease on out, bro. And I appreciate it, man.
Appreciate you, and much love, for bringing in the information. Brother, you always dropping gems. You know what I mean? You always dropping things that we can walk away with and use. You know what I mean? So definitely appreciate you. And you don't gotta say no homo over. You know what I'm saying? It should be a different vibration over. Everybody should know what it is. You know what I'm saying? So. But,
right.
Yeah. But appreciate you, brother. You know what I mean? You definitely, hey, be safe out there. Do what you have to do to, live as a flesh and blood human being, and to plant seeds in people's lives. You know what I mean? So I definitely appreciate you. We appreciate you for coming on the platform. So, but yeah, brother.
Thank you, great brother. I'm going to go now. It's 8:42 in the morning over here. I started out with you at 6, and I'm going to get me some sleep now. The day is the Shavuot holiday over here, Shavuot, and we're going to shut it down and get some sleep. Okay?
Indeed.
All right. And I want to say to the people, I love you from the basement of my heart to the attic of my mind. I love you 24/7. That means all the time. Shalom, shalom.
Shalom. Peace to the God. Yep. And that was our brother. That was our good brother, Nubian King. Like I said, he always dropping gems for us. You know what I mean? So, as I will always say, support the platform, things like that. And I was going to do 2 broadcasts today, but I'm going to just save the other broadcast to another day. just look for it. I would say I do the broadcast on certain days, but time be getting the best of me, and I like to get my mind right to do certain things as well. So I appreciate y'all for hanging in. A lot of y'all, up late with me. That's what's up. You know what I'm saying? I didn't expect everybody to pour on in at this time of day, at this time of night. So appreciate y'all. And there's only one thing that I want to touch on myself, and I just want to make clear, So when it comes to other races and things like that, I will always like to say, like, I would never get into the mindset of hating anybody. I only dislike actions and things like that. So on top of that, I come from a mind state where you have to love someone in order to hate them, so because it's a thin line between those two. I have to understand it as thin line, and I just get into the mind state of I just understand people. I understand, I go into understandings, you know what I mean? So if I understand a certain person or entity, then I know exactly how I should act around this person and how exactly I should move, So that's just that. That's just what's going on. But when it comes to, outside of that, when it comes to what's going on in different lands and different cultures and things like that, I also have the mentality that it's all our land. So I'm going to care exactly what's going on each land. You know what I mean? So, and just thinking strategically, we should be aware of all wars that's going on, just like they are aware of what's going on in our community. You know what I'm saying? So it's definitely something that we should pay attention to all over the world and get the truth and versus the propaganda that they throwing at us. You know what I'm saying? So, that way we could plan accordingly to exactly what we want to do, especially that day when we all communicate in unity with ourselves, versus being separatists as we are today. We're able to plan accordingly and plan strategically, if it's war or anything like that. You know what I'm saying? So I'm going to leave you with that. You know what I mean? And like I say, support the platform, support all true Black platforms. It's going to give you something positive, something to think about and drop gems. You know what I mean? So, and I'm gonna go ahead and get out of here. I'm probably gonna go to sleep as well. And like I say, peace to the guys. Appreciate y'all and much love. You know what I mean? And we're gonna do it like that.
Yeah. They insured the ships, they paid for the whips, they funded the expeditions, they paid for the trips, and they talk about genocide, they funded our Holocaust, they screaming out Mazel Tov from throwing Molotov. Hit you in your noggin, now your yarmulke falling off. It's Yahweh or the highway, you'll be dead when the shotty spark. When the shots hit your chest, it'll burn like Bacardi Dark. Return of the Falasha, kill the white Jew imposter. Because you lack the matzah to deal with my people proper. Now you gon' have to deal with this bleeping shotgun, the slumlord. The moment you see me, you know you done for. You even see my face on your TV, you better run for it. The evil Hebrew, unequal, you claim to be the chosen people. The wrath of God come to see you. No respect for Israel, you criminal, set the colony. You hate me cause I'm speaking the truth, you try to silence me.
I believe in my God and in my gun. And you say, well, you don't really believe in God if you believe in the gun. I believe in God and my gun. And I pray that he will bless you. When it's time